Sometimes we live through an ordinary day without even realizing that it might become something special. For a person, it's just another evening, another walk, another sunset. But for an old dog, sometimes a moment like this can be an entire lifetime quietly coming to an end. That evening, the dog stood up from his place a little slower than usual. Once, things were different. He used to jump up at the very first sound of keys in the door. He would run through the hallway, sliding on the floor, his tail wagging with unstoppable joy. Now his paws felt heavier, his steps more careful, slower. But when he heard his owner's familiar voice, his tail still softly tapped the floor. It had always been like that. They had been together for many years, so many years that it was hard to imagine life without each other. Once, long ago, this dog had been a tiny puppy, clumsy, curious about everything, with funny ears that seemed to stick out in every direction. He was afraid of the vacuum cleaner, afraid of thunder, and often hid behind his owner's legs. Because back then the world felt big and a little scary. But time passed, and the puppy grew up. He became strong, fast, and one day he started running faster than every other dog in the park. He chased balls, barked at pigeons, and ran toward his owner as if every reunion was the happiest moment in the world. But time does its work. Quietly, almost invisibly. And one day, you suddenly notice that the dog no longer runs. He simply walks beside you, slowly, but still beside you. That evening, they walked along the same path they had taken thousands of times before. The park was quiet. The air smelled like fresh grass, and the sun was slowly sinking toward the horizon. The old dog walked slowly. He stopped by every tree. He sniffed the grass. He looked around, as if trying to remember every scent, every sound, every breath of the wind. The owner walked beside him in silence, because sometimes words only get in the way. They reached a small hill. It was their favorite place. They had sat there many times before, watching people in the park, watching dogs running across the field. The sun turned golden. The sky slowly changed colors: orange, pink, and violet. The owner gently stroked the dog's head and quietly said, "Thank you." The dog didn't understand the words, but he understood the voice, and he knew everything was okay. He slowly rested his head on the man's hand, just like he had done thousands of times before. Sometimes the last walk looks exactly the same as all the others. The same road, the same park, the same sky. But for someone, that walk can mean an entire lifetime. And maybe that is what love really looks like.